Hey guys, you made it. Welcome aboard. I'm super excited to share with you today a conversation that I had with my friend Ra Cloud. He is a seventh density, multi-dimensional being, guardian of the seventh gate and the seventh child. He considers himself a warrior of Christ and has incarnated into this moment on this planet in order to assist with the process that we're moving through, this ascension. He does this through sharing his personal experience and stories on his channel called My Galactic Journey. I will include the link to his YouTube in the description below. I am just fascinated with Ra's very centered, very grounded strength and insight that he just truly emanates. It's something to learn from. I just think he's a fabulous, fabulous being. And I believe that we're blessed to have him on the planet. I truly do. I hope that you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. I brought him here because I really wanted to share with you how he is processing and seeing and perceiving the world in its state right now. Sometimes it seems like there's a bit of turmoil out there, but he really has a way of expressing how to live in love and not fear. And I hope that you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. I would like to say, and ahead of time, apologize for my own audio and my own video. My settings were wonkadoo. We had several technical difficulties prior to connecting, and I don't know what happened from my end, but it did. Fortunately, Ra is the one doing most of the talking, and he is who you should be focusing on. So I hope that my poor audio doesn't distract you from retaining and feeling his resonance because he's a beautiful soul. I love you very, very much. There's good things ahead.
Much for spending time and agreeing to come on today. I appreciate you and honor you and see you and the content that you're putting out. I was just so drawn to your wisdom and how you are perceiving the things that are happening in the world, being a starseed yourself. Can Before we get into it, can you tell me just a little bit about your own experience with realizing that you are a starseed?
Well, of course, when you're growing up, you just want to be happy. You want to play with your friends. Um, but when you look around, even as a child at a young age, you notice certain things that start to like come out of you as far as being a little bit different. And it's like tapping into your eternal self. And you're looking at your friends and your family members, and you're like, well, everyone else seems normal. Why am I so different? And then it's like no one else around you like fully understand you. Even your friends, they're having to kind of compromise um, just to be around you, try to understand you. That's when you grow up and you start to understand, well, okay, I know that I'm different and I'm going to accept that. So it all starts at a young age, but as you get older, you really don't when you're a kid, you don't understand like what's really going on. But as you get older, you begin to notice all of these other special, unique things about yourself, and you just accept it. So that's when I started noticing that I was a star seed. It wasn't when I got into like the military projects, and then going off planet and then working with these other beings. No, I noticed all of that way beforehand, way before the ET started coming in and visited me, that I was a little bit different. I was a little bit unique, and didn't fully understand it, but I had that I had guidance, I had help with that. That's when the ET started coming in and started mentoring me as a child.
And when did you realize that you were part of the military programs? Was there a certain age where you were in realizing that? And what was that
Yeah,
like?
well, of course, the military, they kind of like groom you at an early age. They like to elite. They're going to be ETs that's going to like the Grays and other council members, whether they be positive or negative. They all kind of, agree uh, that you have a soul contract, you have a mission to go into certain projects, learn certain things from dark and light, to develop these skills, to develop your experience as a human being. Um, the military came in and monitored me at an early age. I want to say around the age of 3 is when they started, coming in and kind of scratching their heads and be like, okay, well, this gray is telling these military officials that this young human being will be a candidate for the military projects. So it's always going to start at an early age, but they will watch your progression as far as like the psychic abilities, and then they will go from there. It's always in stages.
Mhm. And do you remember when you first started like participating? First of all, the programs that you were used in or that you were a part of. I know that some people speak of things like Nachtwaffen, Dark Fleet. Were you used in, can you identify which programs and which factions that you were working with or what military group you were being used in?
I was used in many of them. We got handed off to many different sections of the military, and not all came from like the Nazi sides.
Mhm.
Um, there were like branches of these paperclip people. Even before this lifetime, I served. I was a black female, and I served in the Nazi Germans off planet, and we would be in it's not going to be good. Okay, it's really not going to be good. They did human trafficking. um so in that past life, I noticed that we were on Mars, and I was speaking to one of my comrades, and I was tired. I got fed up. We would take people off planet, off Earth, in these huge metal containers, like the containers that you see that these huge ships come in,
Mhm.
and they have like goods. Yeah, we would store human beings inside of these containers. So the human ships would go out into international waters with humans inside of these metal containers, and the Nazi ships would just pick them up like cargo, take them on to the Nazi crafts, and then we would go from here to Mars, where we had an underground base. So this particular experience, this past life experience, being a Nazi female, and I was a black female. I was talking to one of my comrades, one of the trusted comrades that I had. and we were above ground. He was watching over the containers. They didn't have any humans. All the humans that we took out of the containers, we took them underground. Okay, so I didn't tell him that I was planning my escape, and I really didn't know how I was going to do it. Um, but I was tired. I was tired. And after I finished speaking to him, not about the escape, he walked off, and then I just hid. And I was really planning my escape off the planet. I was just fed up. I was tired of being a part of the human trafficking. So I hid behind one of the containers, and I'm looking at the the entrance of this tunnel, the underground base. Well, there was a Nazi female, and she had her Nazi coat on, a hat, and she was on like the smart pad. This is a clear pad. It's technology. It's almost like the iPad, but you can see through it. I don't know how she saw me, and maybe because of the implants that we have, she was on it and she located me, but I was hid really good. So when she noticed me, she pointed at me, and the Nazis don't put up with that. I knew shortly after I was discovered, they eliminated me. Um, so yeah, that was a past life that I saw that, I had been working with them and I was eliminated. I don't know if I was infiltrating because I do have comrades that we served and we infiltrated Nazis back then. Uh, I also had another past life of me being blonde hair and blue eyes, working for the U.S. Military, where I had two other comrades, and we spoke German. We spoke fluent German, so it was easy for me as a blonde hair, blue eye in that past life to also infiltrate one of the Hitler bases. Um,
And is that
we
was that
infiltrate.
your purpose during that lifetime to infiltrate?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that was the mission that I had as an intelligence officer. So I'm kind of doing like the same similar work here as I was doing in my past lives. Um, as an intelligence officer, we use a lot of time travel technology. We use jump chairs. Um, and that's where a lot of the psychic programming came into play as a young kid, training for these psychic missions, becoming a super soldier, and then using avatars that are augmented to handle certain missions.
Do you think that well, let's back up just a little bit in regards to your training. What kinds of experiences lent itself to your training? I did hear you say at the beginning that there's multiple, situations and incidents throughout our lifetime that lead up to um, actions but what can you name some things or can you give us examples of what kind of things you went through as a child in your human form that was part of the training?
Yes. Uh, this goes back to like the Montauk type projects and being in military facilities where, they put you through strenuous things as a child, and it's all to break you and then rebuild you. What you can't handle, those will be then altars will be created to handle those because you can only put the mind, especially a child. through so much trauma before they break. And they get you to that breaking point where you pretty much split off and I really do think that the higher self allowed the split to happen. Like you have a higher self and it's monitoring everything. There's been incidents where kids are being tortured, and this voice speak through them. It's them, but it's their higher selves that have like cosmic knowledge from past lives, and it just works as a collective. There have been incidents where the higher self come out and then begin to tell these Nazi officers, look, just get it over with, kill the kid and let it be done because it can't handle it. But in many cases, this has happened, but the Nazis do not want to get the kid to the breaking point where death occurs, only to that breaking point where the consciousness split off into like this bubble. There's where the altar is created. Now, through their knowledge from the reptilians and our plasma hold memories, that memory has abilities, unique abilities, psychic abilities, psionic abilities, even transformation abilities. All is within the blood, it's all within the plasma, even mapping out the cosmos from us living on different planets out there in other past lives. So the Nazis, they get all of that information. And then through the altars, they can control. They create agents for espionage. When it comes to the females, they create spies, young spies. I'm talking about young teenage girls, and sometimes even younger, 10, 9 years old, some even 8, to infiltrate. That's where you see a lot of these very attractive um, models that grow up. They grow up in these projects.
Yeah.
And later I can get into some of that and why you're seeing what you're seeing now is because a lot of the white hats are bringing out like the Epstein files and stuff like that.
Yes. Do you think that they were, maybe we are jumping a little ahead right now, but do you think that um, some of the labs and such that Epstein were were a part of or that were under his New Mexico ranch, do you think that they were training these women to be spies as well? Or, I mean, I definitely have an opinion. I know that's a little bit of a vague question because it seems like the world is looking at the trafficking, all of, I think I'm not supposed to use that word, but the obvious, but which is in their
Mm-hmm.
scope and range of awareness. But there's things that are still aren't entering the awareness of the collective, maybe a little bit the MK Ultra, but the purpose of the MK Ultra and the off-world influence that perhaps was had on these nefarious groups. And there's just, I just want to keep pushing the boundary because we're not just looking at PDFs. We're not just looking at the transportation of human bodies. We're not just looking at the harvesting of organs. Like there's something even more deep, there's deeper layers to what is happening. And I'm really curious if this information and data is going to surface. And so what are your thoughts on that?
You're absolutely right. It's way more massive, way more profound than what you mentioned. It like when you go deep into the Epstein files, and I haven't released this yet. I mentioned a little bit, so I'll release it here on your channel. Then I have to release it on my channel as well. you're talking about a massive Earth is being ran by corporations now. Okay, so the Nazis didn't just stop at a Project Paperclip. They didn't just come over here um, to help the Americans develop certain things. They came to infiltrate and take over. These are pretty much, if you look at their bloodline, you look at the history, they go deeper into they believe that they are tied to the Atlanteans. Um, but these particular Atlanteans are the Luciferians. They are highly technologically advanced. Um, they want to rebuild a society, a utopia Earth. There's no crime. Okay, there's no crime, but they control all of the other humans on the planet. Okay, everybody is lower class. Only their particular groups. We're talking about the Aryan lines. Um, a lot of the billionaires, if you are not a part of their bloodline, even they will be cast. And they don't know this. They don't know this, but they're helping right now to create this one world digital currency where everybody is monitored on the planet by what we consider a Luciferian AI system, a one world digital currency. Um, they need certain humans on the planet, but let me just tell you about this. Then you'll begin to understand
Yes.
the volume of it. So 2 years ago, I did I want to say about a year and a half ago, I did a timeline jump because something just wasn't adding up. Uh, let's just say after um, the James Rink conference I went to 2 years ago, so it was 2 years ago now. Uh, when right after Trump, the fake assassination where he was out and the bullet grazed his ear, that was staged. It was fake. Um, I looked into that. I remote viewed, and when he did the fist pump and he had like the blood kind of like it was like the V shape. It went from his mouth to the V shape. Well, that V shape, when he was down on the ground, that was placed by the fake security, Secret Service. They placed that blood there, and it was in the shape of the NASA type symbol, that red symbol, where you can see that symbol is a serpent tongue. It's the serpent tongue. Um, and I'll send you images of it. The NASA emblem, that red emblem. I don't know what they call it, but it's a serpent tongue. Uh, when he was telling people to fight, then he wasn't talking about the American people. He was talking about the Luciferians because he was working with the white hat military, and we were going into these underground facilities. We had certain agreements with Trump at first, not knowing how deep this compartmentalization was going to occur and how the black hats had think tanks that were planned out strategically for decades, and they were following this particular line. Um, so after that, I'm saying, man, something is just not adding up. It's not adding up. Now we know that this is a fake assassination attempt, although in the earlier days he did have real assassination attempts. Then he was the loose cannon. The elites could not control him then, you know? So when I did this timeline jump, I went into the future. I saw China, I saw Russia, and I saw Trump. They were the three managers of the planet. And the Orions, the Orions gave the Luciferians, these Atlanteans, domain because the Cabal could not get Earth under control, could not get the humans under control. Why couldn't they do that? It's because these Dracos were too bloodthirsty. They were having too much fun. We're talking about the Royals. They were having too much fun with what they were doing. Um, Especially with the music industry, Hollywood, um, the Pizzagate stuff, all of this other stuff that they were doing, they were just having too much fun to get Earth under control. So the Orions said they needed the Cabal to step to the side and give the Atlanteans, which are the Republicans. So you have the Democrats are the Cabal, the Dracos, the Blue Bloods, and the Republicans are the Atlanteans. They look more human. They're blonde hair, blue eyes, but they are like the fallen human angelics. Okay,
And
these
if
particular Anunnaki.
I apologize for interrupting you, but for anybody who has further questions about this, Roz made some incredible videos explaining these two lineages and these two groups and their history and influence on the earth. And so do you by chance know which one or the title of one of those? Because you've done a couple of them, and one of them was really
I did
detailed.
do
You did a fabulous job. I've actually referred to it.
I do not remember the episode,
Maybe I'll find it and
but
I'll put
yeah,
it in the description because it's really good and very
yeah,
informative. Like what you're describing right now, the history of what he's describing right now, he goes over in one of his previous videos, and I'll add it into the description. I'm sorry, Ra, I didn't want to interrupt you.
no, that's fine. Um, but when we did this timeline jump, we went into the future. We saw that the uh, the Atlanteans made an agreement with positive military. Uh, we had to sit down with them and then come up with because we couldn't take them on both at the same time. So the enemy of my enemy became my friend. Uh, so Trump offered to take down the cabal, which they did not want to go. Whether the Orion Dark Empire wanted them to step to the side or not, they were not going to go quietly. So he offered a treaty with the human race if if they would take down the cabal, take down this portion of the deep state. They are still the deep state, but take down this particular group. We had to help them create this utopia Earth where there's no crime, everything's peaceful, and but here's the offset. Everybody had to go under digital ID. Everything was going to be provided. Certain people was not going to work as much as they do like right now. But if you broke any of their rules, things will be taken from you. So we looked at all of this right here. We looked at all of it and we decided to go with that particular timeline. But we knew at some point that we were going to have to break away from that because what happened is they did not take depopulation off the table. Okay? So they kept the depopulation plan on the table. And we found that that was not going to be acceptable. So this is where we're at right now. So you still have certain cabal members fighting the Luciferians, and we're kind of like fighting them both, but we're picking and choosing our battles. Uh, we're more or less interested now in getting certain files out to humanity, focusing on that, letting humanity wake up and see things for what it is. The Epstein files is disclosure, because what's going to happen is it's going to take you down into the reptilians. It's going to take you down into human trafficking, and it's going to lead people off to seeing that there are uh, dark members that are not human that have been controlling Earth for a very long time. And we're talking about the reptilians, and we're talking about the Anunnaki. So all of that is in the Epstein files. But as mankind, so we're doing it in sections, Brandy. So we're giving humanity what they need, and then we'll get into the reptilian stuff for those that do not believe. But it's got to come in stages. It's got to be time sensitive for mankind, or they just won't believe none of it.
Yeah, understood. I mean, even my own journey of my second awakening, if you will, that actually is how it happened. I really had to look at the scale of these
Mhm.
issues, like the basic, the core, the buying and selling and purchasing and consuming of little children. That is where I started. And it was so unbelievable. And then it just led me on this path, and boom, I just remembered everything. Maybe not everything, but
Yeah.
I began to have a remembering, and then from there, I began to remember my own place within the galaxy and my position as a galactic citizen. And so much came in, but it definitely was a process, and it was baby steps, because I believe that to take on these huge new concepts and new realities, quite honestly, you have to almost crack open your current belief system. And what more could crack it open than the issues and the things that we're just beginning to see in the Epstein files? I think this is going to be a long journey, and
Yes.
I appreciate what you said and about the it's baby steps. If you, I mean, maybe these aren't baby steps, but I hear what you are saying. How do you think that? What are your thoughts on humanity's ability to process what they're seeing, and what do you think this is going to look like for your neighbor or your family, or your town? Like, how is your town processing this? Like, I mean, in real
Well,
time. I'm
I
not talking about, because there's so many people that I'm familiar with online. We're all talking, we're all, certain people are reporting, but if you turn away, and shut everything down and look at the faces of your community, um, it seems to be sensationalized and the hyper focused on that one person that was in the files, or, oh, Andrew got arrested. So how do you
mhm.
see this playing out? That was a lot, sorry.
I think no, I think that this is a real good start for humanity, and it's a good start for the human collective finally being able to see things, and then understand that what you're seeing now with the Epstein files is for those that you know have been believing in a government structure that really was created to bind you to a system of control is not, it wasn't beneficial for humanity in the beginning. We got tricked into going into a system that was going to hold us back from ascension. That's what the eye on the pyramid on the back of the dollar, that didn't originate here, but we as a human collective, we got tricked into creating and manifesting a system for these beings to rule over us. And they need it because of how Earth realm is set up and how God's source created this particular realm. They need our consent. Okay, they are masters. They are really masters of manipulating the mind. So they don't hold any manifestation power here. We do, but they would dangle a carrot at each level so that we build their structure. And that's how it's been. Because look, if you look at it, they tax us on everything. Even when you pay off your car, you pay off your house, um, it still doesn't belong to you. You still got to pay taxes on it. If you don't pay taxes on it, who takes it? The government takes it. So, and that's not right. It's never been right, you know. But as they take money, these rich families, they put in that in their pockets, and you pay more taxes than they do. So the system is set up against us, but you know, mankind is waking up. We're breaking free. We're seeing the government for what it is. All of these presidents have always been a part of. If they are not a part of it, then they don't get to be president. And the ones that try to break away from it, they do get assassinated. Now we saw what happened with Kennedy. Kennedy found out, even though Kennedy had a dark past, he wasn't like them. And once he found out what was going on, especially with the alphabet letter agencies, they eliminated him. They couldn't control him. So, and that's how it is. If they can't, you know, control a particular person within that bloodline, then they will eliminate them. And then, or if they don't, they will eliminate that person from behind the scenes. So you won't even really know that this person is gone. And then they will make a duplicate of that person and then they control them. That's how they do it now. They and this is Atlantean technology, but there's many groups of ETs out there right now that can clone you or use a sophisticated AI android that look like you. And we saw this with Biden. You know, Biden had he was an android at some point, but there was many different Bidens, just like there are many different Trumps.
Yeah, I've
So,
heard you speak to that. Um, but I love that you are not jumping on the bandwagon. It's alarming when, well, I won't speak to that, but I appreciate how you are not putting him on a pedestal as being this person that's going to put an end to all of this. I kind of saw right through that. Don't get me wrong. Am I hopeful? Do I think maybe that could have maybe happened? But given what I'm seeing right in front of my eyes, I just don't see that happening. And it's really alarming and it's really scary, albeit I'm not there in person and I'm not seeing it with my own eyes.
mhm.
These raids, I am seeing everything online, and I do know that, maybe it's not real, but I don't think so. I have a real issue with the way that he has treated the whole immigration is just pissy magoo. I thought it was um I'm tiptoeing around, but it I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I'm not into you when you're controlling and seeking and rounding people up. I'm not about that. I'm 100% into being a sovereign soul. I don't give consent, and if I do by accident, and if I find out about it, I I try to correct it, or
Absolutely.
I'm not into giving consent. I am like, again. So that's one of those things I get a little triggered. There's a few things I still like that make me a little triggered, and
Yeah.
that's one of them. And then just seeing these beautiful, kind souls and their putting him on a pedestal as being this person that's going to bring us into this like amazing age of disclosure and like, put an end to all the BS. I just don't see that happening. There's nothing I'm seeing. Is he allowing the Epstein files to be released? Sure. Yeah. Well, what is this, like a year later? But or more than that.
Well,
Anyway, I'm
yeah,
ranting.
well, he's only allowed. I'm sorry, Brandon. He's only allowing portion of the Epstein files. Well, let's just say he really don't have control of releasing the Epstein files because uh there was just too many people voting on it, and it was going to be released regardless because we have other positive entities from behind the scenes. Um, Trump, this particular Trump is being controlled by Dark Fleet. Dark Fleet is the Antarctica people, the Nazis. And I told people a while ago, way before Elon threw up the Hitler sign, that Dark Fleet was in the White House. We already saw it. We knew what was happening. We knew that there were many Trumps that the deep state had, and they can pull out. These guys, these Anunnakis, even went to another timeline where this particular Trump was electing for the Luciferian agenda. Um, because in the beginning, they could not control him. They couldn't control him. They showed him many clones to threaten him in the beginning. He does have a bloodline history of being a Luciferian. You can't be president without being a part of the bloodline, or being a part of the Brotherhood. There are a selected group of billionaires, and they will not allow anyone else to be a billionaire because if you get close to it, becoming a billionaire, it's because they have allowed that to happen. It's because they wanted you there for a purpose. But if you're not bloodline related, you're not going to go into that billionaire boy club. You're just not going to do it. And I've seen them set up, different people that don't um, fit them, you know, um, like, the Bill Cosby, he was on his way where you become a billionaire, you have to go and be voted in. They didn't want him. So a lot of things got set up for him to fail. Of course, they already have bad things on you. They have bad things on you. If you've been out there and you've been a part of these groups, even the most remote little thing, they're going to record you. Bill Cosby may have uh, done some bad things, but it's nothing compared to what they have done. But they will set you up because you don't fit what they want. And when you don't fit it, and you even get close to being a billionaire, you're going to jail. They're going to set you up. And the only reason why Oprah got to where she is because she is controlled. She is a part of the dark occult. Uh, she know all about human trafficking. She's been a part of it, and I've been talking about this for years. Um, but she's been body snatched. They do something where you see all of these elites with very influential platforms. They have money, so they get this shot. You ever heard of the black eye syndrome? Well,
No.
all of
Or
these elites, you see the
oh,
black
the black.
eyes.
No, will you tell me about it? I see it, but I don't know what it symbolizes. But I have seen it.
Well, yeah, this is an injection that they get that goes in behind the eye.
Hmm.
This is a parasite, and it carries a hive mind of reptilians. Reptilians can monitor all of their Illuminati groups. These are Illuminati people. Uh, and they are controlled through this hive mind mentality. It's
Is it
a
is it related
lizard.
to Magellan? Sorry. Is it related to Magellan or the microscopic metallic metal? I think it's
It's
called
something like
Magellan. Okay. Sorry.
Morgellons. You talking about Morgellons
Yeah,
or
maybe Morgellon.
um, something like that? Morgellons is more or less a bio engineered nano that goes in. It looks almost like a bug that goes into the body and then start rewiring. It's a part of the transhuman agenda. You ever seen those wires that come out of you from the Morgellons?
Yeah, I actually
That's
have.
what that you have it?
No, I have had a little piece of wire come out of my leg one time. I did have that. I don't know what it was. I thought it was metal. I don't know. I've never seen it since,
Yeah,
but I thought that there
yeah,
was something in me.
yeah. And this has been documented. And these wires cannot be burned. It's very high tech. Um, yeah, I don't care how hot a flame can get, it won't burn. Well, this particular nanite, this is a bot that goes into the body and it starts to replicate. Upon it replicating, it rewires your nervous system. It rewires the nervous system. But here's the thing: a lot of the Morgellons that goes into the body over time, if you change your diet up, your immune system begins to kick it out. It can't handle the immune system. And this is what these the Greys and the reptilians and the military side, the military that works for the deep state side, they can't get around the immune system. Our immune system, we take it for granted. We really do, and it's like our first line of defense against these ETs that want to come in and attack the body. Not only that, our auric field, our spiritual auric field, it blocks out entities that we cannot see. When you in high vibration, your auric field expands. So along with the mind, body, and soul, we really can't be touched. Only if we allow the mind to be infiltrated by negative thoughts. Um, we going into a victim mentality. Um, we are participating in negative things. Then it makes us dense. It changes the frequency on us. But if we stay loving, we stay mindful of who we are, and we stand in our power, we can't be beat. Uh, I done lost where I was at.
No, I interrupted you. You were talking because I want to come back to what you just said, but when I interrupted you, you were speaking to the black eye injection of
Yes,
that goes behind the eye.
yeah. So this entity, and I'll send you one of the videos because I show you what this thing looked like when it's not inside the body. So it goes in behind the eye, and then it begins to grow. It begins to grow. Once it grows into a lizard. So it really just takes over the body. These people, it kicks out the soul because the soul will not stay in the body with this thing around. If it does, it won't be there after it is fully grown. These are what we call the body snatchers. So you're looking at a entity that has grown in the place where your soul is supposed to be, and it knows everything that you knew at a certain point. It may not know um, things like 20 years ago, uh, but it knows current things. So, like if you're a president, it knows your job. It knows how to mimic you in every way. It picks up things that you remembered like 5, 10 years ago, but it doesn't go like past that point. but it's a mimicker.
So how the black eye, does this symbolize that that person has had this injection? Mm,
Absolutely. That's the
okay.
first time.
Okay. Wow, that's really interesting. Now I'm going to look at that because just a little differently. I've never heard that. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that. Also, gene decode. I've heard him speak of a way to counteract the Morgellon.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't,
Morgellons.
I don't remember what it was, but he had something that offsets that. Do you think that the the black eye, do you think that that is something that can be reversed, or do you think that once someone has had that type of injection and that reptilian frequency is set in their body, do you think that they can come out of that, or do you think that the mind and the body and the field can offset that in any way or battle that
You
within the
can kill it.
individual?
Yeah, and I show in the video how to kill it. It's concentrated frequency.
Mm.
Yeah, you can kill it with high frequency. It does not, it cannot, just like any parasite, staying within the sunlight can kill it. Um, the sunlight will kill it, and frequency, like uh I don't know if you know anything about frequencies, but the higher the frequency is, it
Yes.
will kill it. It can't, and we've seen this in cancer cells as well, where frequency and light frequency can kill cancer cells. Even people praying as a collective, we've seen in studies where it starts to shrink cancer cells. And this is no different because these particular reptilians, they are more or less like a parasite. They are parasitic in nature. They feed off of low vibrational energy. So this is why they need humans to suffer. And once that pain and anxiety is in the blood, they like to ingest it. They get high off of that stuff. It's adrenochrome harvesting. And they showed human beings how to do this. When you are a human being and you ingest this particular stuff, you become extremely addicted. Once you are off that stuff, you may live maybe a week or two before it it kills you. It is the most potent drug out there, not just on this planet, but there's other ET races that love this stuff. They really do.
Is it is this only come from humans? Do you know, or does other forms of biology or whole species, do they do their bodies create that, or is it something
Yeah,
that only humans do?
they have found the same similar effects can happen in particular ET races. Are you talking about other ET races?
Yes. Yes.
Only the ET races that can go into fear. Um,
Oh,
there's only a selected few of ETs because they understand it, at a higher level. They would just absolutely just leave the body. Um, their soul would just absolutely leave the body before any of that stuff can take place.
and
And
the slave trade, when people are being taken off planet into these trades, is that the purpose of purchasing Earth humans, or would it be for actual laborious things or sexual in nature? What is the nature of the trade, if you will, if that makes
that
sense?
is,
I'm trying to be a little
yeah,
elusive. Mhm.
yeah, it goes into like many avenues. So you'll have humans that have gone into the slave trade for breeding projects off planet and on planet into these underground facilities. You'll have men and women go into sex um, to yeah, being prostitutes. There's other ET races out there that love it. Um, on these many other different Nazi planets. Not just Nazi planets, but there's Nazis and ET coexisting side by side. Uh, and you would think that, let's just say on these other planets, because I've been on these planets too, uh, it's not a bad planet, but they have things set up a little bit different. Um, the Nazis are respected and the ETs are respected. It is the humans that are categorized as slaves that are not respected by not only the Nazis but ETs as well. They are they're bought like items, pretty much like here, into a prostitution. Just like a human girl would have a pimp, and they're having to do certain things to for money. It's the same thing out there, but there's a credit system. That there's no physical money. There's a credit system out there. Um, Remind me to send you what that credit system looked like because I have an image of it. And it's going to be symbols on that, and it's going to have space pass. Okay, but it's a credit card. Uh,
Okay.
so I'll send that to you.
Have you ever
Uh,
heard of, oh, I'm sorry, keep going.
no, no, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of, uh, and I'm asking because I believe that I have seen and or experienced this, but have you ever heard of beings coming in and into human form in order to partake of like sexual things down here on Earth? And I'm not necessarily talking about nefarious things. I'm talking really about like Han Solo coming in and hanging out with human women in a human form. Have you ever heard of anything like that at all? And I
Yeah,
know that that probably breaks a lot of protocol, so I'm not talking about this being a normal thing. I'm just talking about, I think that there's some beings that come in and have these like earthly experiences for the sake of feeling what it is to be in human form. Um,
ab absolutely. Now, some of them, so we have a lot of docking stations here on Earth, and it's right outside of our Earth atmosphere. And I talked about this. I've been up there where the Tic Tac took me to one of the Navy docking stations where my best friend who is working in the Navy, he was up there with his girlfriend, and I went up there one night. I was off here, and there are like many different ETs up there that come in off planet because they have business. Now, the proper way is to check in there first before you come onto the planet. That's how it's supposed to be set up.
mhm.
So yeah, they come in and they get passes to come in and do things as long as they're not trying to disrupt or cause fear or chaos. Even those that want to do that, they still have to get a pass to conduct things of that nature as well. But for the most part, you have to be a citizen like the reptilians on this planet if you're going to be doing bad things because they work within the government as well. They work within agencies as well. But there are certain ETs that get passes to come onto the planet and to want to experience what it's like to be around humans, to interact with humans, to learn from humans. Um, Once they do this, um, they go back on their way with that knowledge of interacting with a human and seeing what it's like. And it's all emotion based. They can absorb our emotions. They can uh like feel us on a deeper level. You know how we like when we encounter people, we instantly sometimes just pick up on, good things about them. And then we begin a conversation, and then it lead to other things. Well, they do it the same way, but they do it on a deeper level.
Hmm. Um, thank you. Will you tell me a little bit about the Tic Tac ride that you had? You said the Tic Tac took you to the docking
Yeah.
station. Will you talk about that?
Yeah. So you know what the Tic Tac is, right?
Yes. And from my understanding, these is like Earth-based technology, maybe not Earth-based technology, but a military craft.
Yeah. It's back engineered tall white technology. Uh so the tall whites have been working with the military on many different things, but they also wanted things as well. And they had treaties set up. I think some of those things didn't go too well later, and they end up having to leave the planet. I don't know how true that is, but I do get the feeling that something happened, and they broke their treaties and went about their way. Either way,
Carrie
we back
Cassidy.
engineered.
Mhm. Sorry, I did hear something that they, who was it that was telling me this? I think it was Rob from Typical Skeptic podcast. I guess Carrie Cassidy has information that they were just they weren't necessarily kicked out, but they were no longer allowed to uh, abduct humans here, and that they had to move down to South America. I don't know if that's true or
Okay.
not, but I just wanted to share that with you, that she has some type of information that is leading to that theory or that idea. I haven't heard it, but I'm
Yeah.
interested in it.
Yeah, and this could be true. I mean, because it does coincide with what I know about the tall whites. Now, a lot of people didn't know that the Tic Tac was back engineered. So 2 years ago, I broke that information on Journey the Truth podcast. I wanted to give them something um, that I was holding on to. Um, so the Tic Tac came here to my house, the house that I'm living in right now. And we went outside of Earth atmosphere where this huge Navy docking station is. My best friend, he wanted to see me. I hadn't seen him in a while. And so when I get on board the uh the docking station, it is extremely fucking crowded. Excuse my French. It is crowded up there. You have all types of extraterrestrials. Think of this place like a crowded mall. Like there's people everywhere. Uh, Most of them, they have like their emblems on their one piece suit.
Mhm.
There's humans, there's ETs. We're shoulder to shoulder, bumping into each other, and I had to use the bathroom. So I'm trying to make my way to the bathroom, and I did get to go to the bathroom. Once I left the bathroom, I met up with my best friend in his quarters, uh, which is his room. A lot of people, that's not military. They don't know what quarter is. It's a room. So I get there and I get the impression like, I see him with his girlfriend, and I feel like I'm the damn third wheel and I'm up there on a docking station. I want to do things. I want to go places, but I feel like I'm confined to certain places, and certain places in there is just off limits. So I say to him, and I know I was up there at this point, I know I was up there like a week. So I'm like, man, I'm getting effing bored. When I say that, I'm back here. And only a night had passed. So I'm waking up in my bed. And when I wake up, I'm looking around. I'm like, damn, I'm back. So I was up there a week, but only one night had passed. So I don't know how they worked out that time travel, whatever they did, only a night. And they knew what night to take me. They knew I was off that night because I worked third shift. They knew when to take me. And I went up there, I spent some time with him, but I felt like I was the third wheel. So I got bored.
And when you were taken, were you did you just kind of wake up in the craft, or do you remember uh being physically removed? Do you remember
Now,
how you
you talking
got
about
into
when
the craft?
oh yeah, so look, so it's cream color. The craft is cream color and it opens up on the side. You can't see, like when you first looking at the craft, you can't even see how to get inside of it. But once it open up, you'll see you walk in, you like when you beside the craft, you don't really hear anything but a hum, like a humming sound. Once you get uh in the front, in the front of the craft, there's two soldiers. Well, just call them pilots. The two pilots, um, but they're Navy pilots. Uh, and you can either stand up. There's a where you can hold and just stand up, or there's a place that you can sit down. I like to stand up in it. I'm not going to be on it that long anyway. Now, the capabilities of the Tic Tac. Think of the Tic Tac as like how a bus is here, like a bus shuttle. You get on the bus, it takes you to different places. The military use it in that capacity. It's there to pick up personnel, pick up equipment, um, and take you to other military bases, take you to um, other facilities worldwide. It also goes to the moon. It can go to Mars, but it's not built for interstellar travel. So it can go there, but it's not built for interstellar travel.
Mm.
So, and it is back engineered tall white technology.
Have you been on any other type of craft that you recall?
I've been on many crafts. Some I would not like to have gone on. I've been on, well, I was adopted by Black Ops. This was before I came out from behind the scenes and started talking about this this stuff. They looked down the timelines. They knew that I was going to be coming out. They tried to take me out, basically. They tried to eliminate me. Um, Two Black Ops, deep state military. These were human hybrid reptilians. Two of them. Um, the Black Triangle craft came over the house and they portal in. And at the time, I didn't remember what happened. Um, they took me. Now they couldn't portal back into the craft. They had to take me down my hallway, out the front door, and then portal me up. I guess because I didn't have that technology within my body that they have. And I'm starting to find out how these guys are working their particular reptilian technology. Uh, they took me to an underground base and they gave me something like what you consider a COVID shot. This was months after COVID had broke out, maybe almost a year. It was almost a year COVID had broke out and people were getting sick. But because I work with the military, my immune system is enhanced. Uh, they had to give me a vaccine to make me sick. And that's what happened. And at the time, I did not remember none of this because they wiped my mind. So I remember getting sick and didn't know what was going on. People were still having COVID symptoms, and I started presenting the same COVID symptoms. I ended up going to the hospital, and they said that I had COVID. And I'm like, how in the hell do I have this? Uh, and I'm in the hospital. I'm seeing all these people that are sectioned off in certain places within the hospital, and they got me sectioned off with these other people. I'm just looking around. At the time, it didn't affect me as much. I knew that there was something going on with me, but it hadn't weaved its way all the way into me. So they did X-rays, they did blood work, and they told me to just go home and you know do things to make myself feel comfortable. Well, it wasn't getting better, but so I was trying all these home remedies to make myself immune system strong. Had no idea that I was taken by Black Ops. I did not get that recall yet. So I started to get worse. I mean, I even went back to work because I had to provide. Even though I wasn't feeling well, I was doing all these home remedies, and I was, feeling okay one day, then going right back. Feeling okay one day, and then going right back, feeling bad. But while I was going to work, well, one night at work, I couldn't catch my breath, and I'm like, man, something is not right. And I got the feeling like I was dying. Like no matter how much I was fighting this with all my will, I was dying. Uh, so I didn't want to go back to the hospital. Did not want to go back to the hospital. I went to an urgent care first thing in the morning. Once I got there, they did blood work, they did X-rays, and this nurse, she came into the room because I told her, once you go into urgent care, you tell them, what's going on. Let them know, hey, I've been to the hospital. They told me I had COVID, but I'm not getting better. It's been 4 or 5 days, and I'm not getting better, and I feel like I am dying, like right now, like I can't breathe. So they did X-rays of my lungs, and she came into the room and she was pissed. She said, when you went to the hospital, did they not tell you that you had pneumonia? I said, no, they didn't tell me that. And she kind of like put her hands on her head. She said, we're gonna take care of this right now. They prescribed some antibiotics. And antibiotics, it's a double-edged sword too, because it kills the good gut bacteria within the stomach. It destroys. It doesn't understand that you need good bacteria within the stomach to keep the the bad in check. But so she did save my life. This woman, this nurse, she saved my life. So, and I thanked her for it.
Do you have any, I'm glad you're here, Rob. Yeah, pneumonia is
Thank
actually
you.
not nothing to mess with and
Yeah.
definitely can be fatal untreated. Um, do you have any techniques for memory recall, and when did you remember that you had been taken that particular time?
I guess because of how strange everything rolled out and knowing myself, um, I'm a fighter. So I don't take everything as it is. I really start to open up my mind, and then I begin to think like what happened by me wanting to know the truth. You know, you speak to the universe. These are good techniques. If like you really want to remember, you have to let go of fear first. That's first and foremost. Leave fear, take it off the table, and be open minded. Begin to speak inward and speak to the universe. Um, and it will line things up. It will line things up for you. Now, these memories just they started flooding back, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen all at once. It took almost a year for me to get that recall. It didn't happen like months after. It was almost a year before I got that recall of what happened. And anybody that's been in military projects, there is time sensitive information. You start to get recall after a while, or there's certain things that line up that would draw that memory to come out, and then the floodgates will start to open up. So, and that's what happened.
I love that. And I love that you brought up to let go of fear. That's really important.
Hmm.
And that you said you have to want it. The cosmos and this beautiful entity that we are embodied by, the universe, is a call and response organism. And so as we call, we will get a response. And I really like that you brought up fear again. That's really important because most of the people, when they are thinking that they're a part of these programs, there is a level of fear and they're wanting to know almost out of fear in and of itself. Um, Myself included, I've had that, I had things happen and I'm like, oh, what happened? But I really appreciate what you said. Uh,
Absolutely. That was me telling my son to close the blinds.
how does your family feel about this? How does your kids, or how are they taking to you speaking on these subjects?
Well, they know that dad is going to do the right thing no matter what. Um, and once you step out, you can't let anything, not even family, um, you know, push you to the side of your mission. Um, so they know how dad is. They know what's going on. Sometimes when you're married, and well, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Um,
Yeah,
That's awesome. It's awesome that they know. And I like what you said, like nothing can push you. Don't let anything push you aside from your mission. That's good.
absolutely,
Do you have,
absolutely.
can you give myself or the audience anything just for healing, for being able to stay centered and connected while we're looking at these things? What advice do you give people who are, coming across these things and it's new to them?
I would
And
say,
by when I say these things, I'm talking about, like the Epstein files or my main reason for inviting you on today is because your steadfast ability to look right at the incident. I respect that
mhm,
and not look away and to stay. For me, I like just to be as objective as I can, not to not know
mhm,
what's right and wrong, but I need to keep my emotions in check. I need to stay centered and I can't be like too reactionary because then it clouds my ability to focus on
mhm.
me. I want to pulse out some frequency to the incidents.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all I know how to do in my here and now. There's other things that could be happening, in parallel or other places. But for this body right here and now, when I'm seeing, for instance, you had a short, I know I'm all over, but I'll bring it back around. You had a short that really, I kind of fell out. Um, and it is the one of your most recent, I think it's a short, may not be. But at the beginning, it is this child in clown makeup. And that was really tough to see
yeah.
and to look at. That was a tough one. And so that triggered me. I think I even made a live or two and was just kind of ranting. Um, and how do you recommend a human look at and process what they're seeing? How do that's real hard. And I want to, I want to help people because we're going to see this. We're going to see probably a lot of things like that. And it's going to pertain to people that maybe we admired, or it's going to pertain to
Yes.
systems that we once partook in that we had no idea were facilitating these acts. So, how would you recommend a normal human absorb and move through this information?
I would say, you know that it is coming out. So know that first. It's going to come out, and then there's going to be more coming out that is going to take you down a whole different avenue. So process everything slow, take it in stages, but do not get so emotionally attached. I say if you do, look, don't blame yourself if you do, okay? Don't blame yourself because that says a lot about who you are as a human, okay? That says that you really care. You have emotional response to something that is valid to uh, how we all should feel. Like when we see stuff like that, we all should be emotionally connected to it. Uh, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Connect with it. Um, process it, and then let's continue to be where we're focused. This is your government structure, and a lot of people within the government structure has been at the top level, and even some of the guys at the bottom have been involved in these Epstein files. This is just not just random people, okay? Um, these are people that have been involved doing nefarious things and have been getting away with this for a very long time and then trying to divert and cover it up. Okay. These are not good people. So when you see someone that you admired, do not be passive because you care about this particular person that you thought is, and they could be doing some good things within the government structure, but they are participating in nefarious things from behind the scene. And a lot of this is going on. Even your actresses and actors, even the people within the all music industry as well. Okay, they all have been, I'm not going to say all of them because there are some that they don't participate. They know what's going on. They know to keep their mouth closed. But even them, if you know it, then speak on it. And I'm not trying to, if it's going to put you in danger, then I understand that they don't come out because they have a family. Uh, but for the viewers, don't beat yourself up when you become emotionally tired. Just don't be passive when you see someone that you admire. And a lot of people are being passive that Trump has been named in the Epstein files,
Yes.
and they are being passive. They are being passive because it is him. There is some type of magic that the Masons or the occults have placed this illusion around particular people. Um, and it has everything to do with the savior complex. We're looking at someone that's going to save us when all it is just uh, it's another illusion, it's another trap, another trick to place you in another system of control. Okay, these people don't get a pass. You got to look at those kids. That could have been your child. That could have been a friend that you never got to see again. You have to. It's just not happening to children. Men, women, and children are being trafficked.
Yes.
So stay heart centered. Stay heart centered, but don't let it give you where you being so tied into it where you losing yourself. You have to stay focused, stay balanced when you get this information. When you get that information, stay balanced, stay heart centered, but still be outraged that this has been going on and the government structure has been covering up. I am not for the government structure. I deal with a military system that does not serve any tyrants. Have had high official military people come out and say this on camera that um, they don't serve Trump. Okay, they don't. They serve the people. We're talking about the white hats. We're talking about Earth Alliance. We're talking about Navy Alliance. Okay, and we work with other groups, whether it be human or non-human, that have humanity best interest at heart. What we are doing now is pushing the envelope for our best ascension timeline. Now, just because all these bad things are happening, well, it's happening for a reason. It's there to for us to see it, process it, and then heal it, and then move to that next level where we can ascend and move past these beings. These beings cannot go where we're going because we're going to be vibrating at a higher frequency.
Yes.
And for the people that do not believe what's going on, the people that are being passive, they will be stuck in a timeline where they have to go through more harsh lessons just so you learn from it. And this is done on a higher, what we consider the higher self, is saying that, okay, this particular version of me haven't woken up enough. So let's give this individual more harsh lessons to learn from. So you may go into a timeline where you're dealing with full-blooded reptilians in your face because you need it. You need to see the truth.
Yes.
Um,
I love the
and
word passive. Sorry, passive, because when we're
yeah,
passive, we're consenting to subjugation. This is a giant lesson
absolutely.
on our own role in being complacent to allowing these fucktards to rule our planet. Sorry, Ron. I didn't mean to cuss like that, but
No, no,
like I'm done, I'm over
I'm
it.
with
And
you on
that's what
that.
I feel the biggest lesson for for the for the masses right now is to accept their own role in allowance, in complacency, in passivity. And by doing so, you're consenting to this subjugation. That's my feeling about it. Total feeling.
And you know what gets me, and I was talking to a military comrade about this, is that you'll have people with disclosure channels still electing for Trump, even though he's allowing uh, ICE agents to do human trafficking right in front of you.
Right in front of you. That's how
Now,
I feel too.
yeah, and
And they're running on the idea that perhaps he's infiltrating in order to, facilitate a takedown. But I'm just not seeing that. I don't, eh, perhaps, but I don't see that. I'm seeing something different. I'm seeing what you're speaking to. I'm seeing these new facilities being built, and this is really looking very familiar to when people were being rounded up and multiple times in history. But this is like almost like an inquisition, if you will, or and I know that that's
mhm.
extreme, or when they were rounding up Jewish people, or it's just looking a little weird to me. And it's weird how something can be right in front of your face and you can not see it. Again, I just think that's passivity. I think it's complacent and to be aware. And
Mhm.
I don't worship anybody, and that savior complex is real. Like people want to be
Yes.
saved, and that is not the role. Our role is to awaken to our own divinity, our own sovereignty. We are free souls. We are free
Mhm.
souls, and that is the way out of this. And by looking to someone else thinking that they're fixing all the problems, it's dangerous, I think.
It really is. Uh, when when I first came out, you know, I was already working for a faction of our Space Force. Okay, we're talking about the same group that William Tompkins talked about, the secret space program. People have no idea that there's two factions. You have a white hat side and you have a black hat side. The reason why I set up is because both positive and negative ET races know about duality and how duality can it can either transcend a race to be better or it can break a human race, whether it's ET races or not. There's other ETs out there that had to go through the same type of scenario that Earth is going through right now,
Mhm.
where darkness infiltrated the planet and they had to overcome, um, those obstacles to become better. That's why you see all of these galactic federations. It's from all these planets that have been infiltrated. There's many different ETs that come together and made a council, uh, and then they started going out policing the the cosmos. We're doing the same thing too, with Solar Warden, but there's also other military forces out there, and I've been on those planets, um, and it's a huge planet. We have a section, and then there's another ET race, and it's just like Earth. There's trees, very lush Earth. The military equipment is built better. There's many different type of human, and I'm only talking about just the human side now. And I had a team. We had a team. We went out there and we fought reptilians. And there was other entities. Like you couldn't see these particular. It's like a ghost, and it didn't have a form. It was just a brown slush, and it moved like a wave. But we had special equipment, like to see these entities. Not only were we fighting the reptilians, but we was fighting like these archons, this energy that you can't see. Well, we won that particular battle, but we didn't win the war. There's always more of these things out there. So upon beating that battle, we went back. There was a parade for us. We got ranked up. One of my comrades here, I'm not going to say her name, but one of my comrades here, she was there on that planet, and everybody was out there. There was a lot of people. They were clapping. The military, my group, um, you know, we was marching, saluting people, and you know, my comrade, she did her hands like this and she pushed it out. She touched her heart, then she pushed it out at me like that. And I saw her and I just smiled and we kept walking. My group that won that battle. So they were honoring us. We got ranked up, but we went right back out. There was no downtime. We got debriefed. We went right back out there and we battled again. So
Um, so do you recognize, what I'm hearing you say is that you did recognize this one person that you have here. Have you recognized more than one person? Do you find that the people that you're working with out there are kind of like coming into your field and your consciousness here now
yeah,
for your life?
absolutely. There's a lot of us.
Mhm.
And you know, we kind of communicate through email.
Are they aware
We
of the
talk about our
are they aware of their interaction out there?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, when we talk about it all the time, we also train here, you know, not just off planet, but we train here on the military bases. Uh that was a I'll just go into it. We were being trained. There was a guy that was going to be coming off of retirement to do this special training for us. And, you know, I didn't know him, you know, um, and we were on top of the military base. We were on top of the roof. This training took place on top of the roof. Uh, so there's several guys up there like me on top of the roof. Now, there was a craft that pulled up, and I was already up there with the guy, this new guy that came off of retirement to train us. The guy was short, had looked like he was Asian, and had glasses on, looked like the nicest guy in the world. You know, looked like the nicest guy in the world, but man, he would fuck you up. He will really mess you up. Um, so the craft came in. This was another higher official military guy. This was high ranking general. So he came in, got out of the craft onto the roof and started speaking with this guy that came off of retirement that's going to be training us on top of this military roof. So he's speaking into this guy ear while this little Asian guy is listening but watching us. And I'm looking at him. I'm in attention stand and I'm looking at this. And this high ranking guy didn't want us to see his face. I don't know why. So he had his back turned towards us and he's speaking to this guy. And I really don't know what he was telling him, but I knew it had to be some hard shit that he wanted us to go through with. So after this high-ranking military general got back into the craft and took off, so we had to hold our breath. We had to hold our breath, and it's like four of us up there, right? There's four of us. So he wanted to get us to the point of death, basically. So we're holding our breath for as long as we can, and he's just watching us. This um, guy that came off of retirement, uh, and I'm seeing guys falling over, they're foaming at the mouth, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, in my mind, these guys could slide off the roof. So they're trying to maintain their consciousness. Shortly later, I'm starting to foam at the mouth, and I'm beginning to go down. I'm beginning to go down. And I take a little sip of air. I'm not even gonna lie. I took a little sip of air, and the guy next to me saying, Raw's taking Raw's breathing. And that pissed me off. That really pissed me off when he said that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna have problems with this guy. Like I knew that he is not a team player. Um, like he didn't have my best interest at heart. And but this is how we train. We train to death, to that breaking point and beyond. Sometimes we do die. We do die. And there's many times where I've died. But the guy, the guy that came off of retirement, now he had uh technology that looked almost like a chain, looked like a chain, but it was technology. And it was like embedded into his skin. Well, after I released that video, after I talked about that, he contacted me here. He contacted me here, and he explained to me that that wasn't the only training. Now he remembers. I remember that, but he remember other training exercises where I did die.
Wow. So he contacted you in physical form in where you are in your life now and
Yeah,
recalled even more training than what you had described in your video.
yeah.
Wow. That's kind of neat.
I have.
Many people need proof and or validation in a physical form. It's hard for them to understand the science and the mechanics of the quantum field or multidimensional aspects or timelines or not everybody can fathom those concepts. And so what you just described is kind of a neat grounding experience to ground those situations for you, if that makes sense, or for
Mhm.
someone that you're talking
I
to.
can share.
Mhm.
I can share the uh, the email with you. It's voice recorded, but I can't do it here. Well, I can do this from behind the scenes,
Mhm.
but I can't do that for the audience. I would love to, but I need his consent to do that.
Sure, that makes sense. Um, awesome, Raw. It's funny. I come in and I think I'm going to talk or ask questions, and you're just such a phenomenal, I don't want to say storyteller, but you have such a way about sharing your experience. And it's just a journey conversing with you and talking with you and watching you grow on your channel. Can you tell the audience a little bit about how to find you or anything that you might want to promote aside from your YouTube channel, which is pretty amazing?
Well, also, yeah, my YouTube channel is the best way to get in contact with me. Uh, and that is Raw Cloud Law of One. I also the channel is growing, but I make sure that if you leave a comment, I'll do my very best to respond to all of them. I'll always respond to each and every person,
Yes, you
and
do.
that is also too a part of yeah. That's also a part of being a part of the Christ conscience, being a part of the Law of One, and just connecting to people. It doesn't matter that I've been trained in these military projects. It doesn't matter how many missions I go on. I am a human being in this lifetime, and I want to act like a human being, and I want to conduct myself as such. Uh, just the word human being, it means way more to me than just being a person. Um, Being loving, being kind, being considerate, and honoring the human race. It doesn't matter what color you are. I've lived as um, many different beings. I've been Caucasian many times in many realities, um, many different ET races. I've lived as many different species out there, and I've always kept who I am on a soul level. These are just avatar bodies that the soul get to have many different experience on many different timelines on a multi-dimensional level.
I love that. I agree. And is there anything else that you would want to, in closing, say to the audience about your experience or what's happening in the world? Anything?
I would just like to leave with stay loving, stay kind to people, do as much as you can, but don't let anybody walk over on you. Know your limits when it comes to people, and you don't have to always turn the other cheek. Um, don't allow people to continue to strike you and you just take it. You have a right to your life experience. Yes, be kind, be loving, be considerate, but know your limits when it comes to people. And let's just keep moving. Let's keep helping people no matter what.
Agreed. And thank you again so much for just sharing your wisdom and your insight. It's so profound and so needed. And I love, honor, and respect you, Ra. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you,
I love,
everybody.
honor, and respect you too.
Ah, I can feel it. Thank you, Ra. I am going to end things now. And can you hang tight for a moment, Ra?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I love you. There's good things ahead. Hang in there. You've got